morning, y'all. This is your girl, Miss Cotton. This is your word on wheels. I'm heading into the shop. Had an awesome night last night. Baby, here you talking about somebody having some fun. I twerked and everything. Don't judge me. Some of y'all were like, hey, I'm human. Shoot, y'all got to remember, I couldn't walk in 2013, so, you know. That's the thing I wanted to talk about people being so caught up in being religious that they forget to have fun. You know, I was raised up in churches where, you know, they had the deacon board, vote the preacher out and all this stuff, and you had to look a certain way, and you had to sing a certain song, and I've been in churches where you couldn't wear lipstick, fingernail polish, none of that, you know. And I think I can't blame my ancestors, because what they doing, they just going off of what they was taught. They just going by, you know, the tradition. But sometimes you have to step outside of tradition and really search here for a true relationship with God, because I hate to tell some of y'all saints something, but if you judge me for dancing at my comedy show, I don't even want to say it like this, but I'll probably end up in heaven before you do, because God's not going out for your works and your deeds and, you know, following all the rules, how long your skirt is, and you know, and all that stuff right there. He going straight for the heart. And if your heart ain't right, it don't make no sense to even dress it up. You might as well dress the way your heart looks, like a bomb on the street. I'm serious, because it's some people that they got their outfits together, baby. They bad, but they hearts so ugly, so judgmental. I started not to even post that video of me dancing. I'm like, who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me? David danced up out his clothes in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I had to, you know, I was fully dressed. You know, I was just having fun or whatever. But, you know, I could just see some of the faces of the people. I thought Cotton was blah. Cotton still is. Cotton ain't nothing changed. If you don't believe me, go pray about it and ask God. I think God enjoyed the comedy show last night. He was like, there she go. Because, you know, sometimes I was guilty of that, you know, when I first got back into the church and, you know, I wasn't really learning nothing. I was learning rules. I was learning how to shout before I could learn what I was shouting for. You know, I was going off the cue, playing Simon Says. When the music started, you get up and dance, and when the music stopped, you sit back down and fan yourself. Then when it started back up, then the music stopped, you sitting back down and wait till the music start back in. You know, once I matured in Christ and I stopped trying to get the outside together and start working on my inside, it's freedom in that. It's freedom in knowing who you are, because what you have to realize, when people say they are God, in a sense, they are correct. Because God made us from His image. He blew His breath in us. And there's no way to separate yourself from the body. That's like a drop of rain falling in the ocean. Once it falls in the ocean, it is the ocean. It's not the ocean with a drop of rain. It's just the ocean. But once you get a relationship with God and start finding out who you are, you'll find out that when you're speaking out loud, you're speaking to yourself, because God is here. People project this way when they pray. They look all up in the ceiling and all that. God is right here He put his spirit in all of us. And when you pray, you are talking to God. Who is God? I am. We all are. Because we are parts of him. The problem comes when people start thinking they are the God and start delegating. You know, I'm not into this whole culture of people kissing the pinky ring of the bishop and all this stuff right here, because he has a higher stature in religious terms or whatever. You know, churches do that, and a lot of churches ain't gonna admit it, but it's a hierarchy. It's the people of the cloth, it's the people in the congregation, and it's a line of separation there. If you don't believe me, if you go to a mega church, try to just walk up on your pastor and give him a hug, you're gonna get tackled. I ain't saying nothing wrong with that, because, you know, in these days and times, sadly, it is people who have unstable minds that will run up in the church and try to do something to the pastor. But that kind of baffles me, how we preach that God is our protector. He protects us, and we have a shield of protection around us, but we have security. I guess it's part of the traditional stuff for this new tradition. You know, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in carrying no gun, no weapon, or all that stuff. People think I'm crazy. You know, Cotton, you need to get you a gun. You need to get something to protect yourself. What happened in believing that God was going to do it? We halfway believe it, or do we believe it all the way? Because that's confusing. That's confusing to tell people to trust in God for everything, even your protection, and we carrying weapons. I don't understand. Can somebody help me with that? Because, you know, that just seemed a little hypocritical to me. Same thing about people saying they trust in God for their healing, illnesses, but some people like being sick. I'm just going to say it. Some people like the attention for being sick. They don't want to be healed. They keep playing like they want to be healed, but they don't really want to be healed. Because they like the feeling, the love that's shown to them when they sick. They're scared to be healed. I feel like if you believe that, truly believe that God is your healer, then walk in it. Stop accepting everything these doctors telling you. Some people, you can just see their eyes just glinting. They said I got high blood pressure. They gave me these pills to take. You know, maybe I'm cut from a different cloth. I know doctors got a job and they diagnose stuff and all that, but God created the doctors. He created all of this. And half the time them doctors going Googling your symptoms and coming back and telling you what's wrong with you, and you accept it without a question. You don't even pray about it. You don't even say, God, take it from me. If you do say, God, take it from me, do you mean it, though? You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean about being religious versus having a personal relationship with God. Because I believe God for everything. And sometimes people think I'm crazy for that. But, you know, it's a purpose for that. Because when I show God that I believe him for everything, he does everything. He comes through every time. And, you know, you just have to learn to talk to your father like your natural father. You have to get out of the religious part and have a relationship. And I wasn't throwing no shade to nobody carrying weapons. That's your choice. But for me, my weapon is up there. My weapon is right here. My weapon is right here. And I feel like if anybody run up on me to do me harm, and something does happen to me, then it is what it is. But I think carrying weapons is like saying I don't trust you. That's my opinion. And I thought about that, you know, because of the young lady that got killed by SWAT or whatever. I'm not finna argue with nobody on Facebook about that, but that's another video.